We'll start with the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Next, our first item on the agenda is a personnel resolution.
Morning, everybody. I'm back with another HELP program resolution, adding more titles to the HELP program that we will then, upon approval by this body, submit to the state Civil Service Commission for inclusion in the program so that we can begin hiring into these positions on a non-competitive basis, and after a year's time convert them to competitive status so that they don't have to take a test. Again, this is to address both recruitment issues on our end and the backlog with the examinations not being offered by the state. Any questions about any of the titles on the list or anything about the program?
Dan?
Yep. So thank you. I'm familiar with the program from other presentations that you made, but can you review some of the details with, I know that you said after a year. Is it a year from when that position is created?
Well, there's been two phases to the program. So in the initial phase of the program, which began in the first part of 2023, the 1 year started from the time that it was approved, the titles were approved by the commission and submitted to the Department of State. That's when the clock on 12 months started ticking under that program. So someone hired that day would have 12 months. Someone hired 4 months later would have 8 months before they're converted. Someone hired in the 11th month would have 1 month before they're converted. It would work that way. They expanded and extended the program this year, early this year, so that that 1 year clock would be based upon whenever someone was hired in this year and continue. The program was extended until the end of the year. We are expecting that they will extend it into some point in 2025 because they have a backlog of resolutions they're trying to get to. In fact, the resolutions we submitted at the beginning of June have still not been heard by the commission, so we expect it to be extended. So they're pretty much running on a year basis because everybody we've hired will fall within that, hired to date with the titles we have will fall within that 1 year. If they do at some point put a date certain end to the program on, that will become the new cutoff, and it will be a year or a shorter period depending upon what the new date certain is. And we're just waiting on that information from the state.
Great. And the other question is, these on paper are duplicate positions that then go away, correct? And is someone automatically put into the other position, or?
Yes, they are automatically converted into the, at the end of the time frame that they have to serve, they're automatically converted into the existing position. The funding follows them. We don't actually delete the old positions until everyone's out of them.
The old positions?
I mean, the help title positions. We won't delete those until everyone's out of them.
Okay. And are we able to use them again?
The program requires that the titles be deleted from our appendices. This is our local civil service rules and appendices. They have to be deleted from our appendices under the rules of the program. So we would come back here with a new resolution to delete the titles as we don't need them anymore.
Okay.
Or at the program end, we might just do them all at once.
Okay.
Depends on what they roll out next. So this is a qualified answer at this point.
Yeah. But can we hire more than one person under the same title if the previous person is either no longer with us or transferred over to?
We can reuse the titles as long as they still exist.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Are we seeing more civil service tests offered? No, they're still not?
They're better than they were 2 years ago,
yeah.
but nowhere near where they were pre-COVID.
Yeah, okay. You still think they may be considered revamping the system completely?
I don't know if a complete revamp is on the table, but I know that there will be changes.
Yeah.
They're very close-lipped about what that is because they're still they're doing the research. I had a call yesterday. I was at NISAC earlier in the week talking to these folks, and they say that there are changes coming. They're working on them now, but we don't know what they are.
Yeah, okay. Dave, questions?
Yeah, I think this has been a real success from a program standpoint. I know it's a lot of work for you and your people, but
My
yeah,
people more than me.
lot of paper. But yeah, I think reflects the realities that we're living in today. Yeah, so I'll move it.
Okay. Do you have-
Just for your knowledge, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you'll see it in our budget submission, but to date, we've made 183 hires under the program.
Wow, that's great. Really good. Good news. Chris?
I just had a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So you said that I was going to ask that question, how it's been successful, I think.
And this is from just the first round of, from the titles we got approved last year, which were just in the human services area. Caseworker, income maintenance worker, 911 positions, 183 hires so far. So all of the ones that were approved, I believe it was in May that we submitted in June. And with these, if the commission could actually approve these for us, we expect those numbers to go up significantly.
Can we actually get a list of all of those, where they were?
The hires that we've made? Yeah, we have a tracking list. We have to submit it to the state every month.
Just only because, obviously, we talk a lot, when we get into the budget, we talk a lot about vacancies, funded vacancies, and where they are. In years past, we've had a lot. I think that that's getting not as many vacancies, right, because of this program's helped.
Right, and yes, it has. There's, that's part of the program, is dealing with the vacancies. The other part was to resolve the provisional appointments because exams weren't coming out. That's a lot of what we're trying to do, particularly with this round of titles you have in front of you. There's a lot of provisional appointments that have been sitting out there. People have been provisional for years, in some cases, some for months, some for years. Provisional appointments kind of are anathema to state civil service. They don't like them, but we can't resolve them if they won't give the tests. So that's kind of the point of the program. So a lot of it is trying to resolve appointments that existed before the help program even started. So there's that as well. We'll send over some information. Hopefully it will clarify things for you.
One of the problems too is if you promote somebody within into a provisional and then they don't work out, they have rights to bump back, and then that makes a mess for you because everybody that got promoted behind them gets bumped back too, in some cases.
Yeah, it's called a contingent permanent appointment. Departments tend to avoid them simply because they know that those
Of
could
the
be problematic.
right.
But if they wanted to, somebody did get bumped back, you could come back in front of the hearing and create an additional.
You could.
I mean, you don't have to abolish that, right?
Right.
So that if I get a raise, I don't.
Right, but again,
It'll
it's
work
stuff
out.
coming back to us again.
Right.
Right.
I think I would hopefully that we would do that. If somebody did, we wouldn't bump everybody back down. I would like
Well,
to see it
the
create
reason
so that the person doesn't have to get.
Right, and the second promotion, the one behind in the initial promotion, the employee is informed that it's a contingent perm appointment, and sometimes they just don't want to accept
Take
it.
it.
And it ends up being vacant, because nobody wants to take the promotion knowing that they could be bumped back through no fault of their own.
Right.
So quite often, those positions get left vacant.
Okay. Dave made the
The
motion.
leadership just has to make sure that they keep track of these dates so they know when a decision
Yeah, and
has to be
they-
made, whether this person is working out or not.
And our civil service technicians, the department liaisons, work very closely with the departments to keep them apprised of the
Again,
schedule.
a lot more work for your folks, but
Yes.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Do you have a second?
Just had a question. Carl, it's always nice to see you. Just a question, because we're not using the civil service results in the hiring, do you have any like DEI metrics that you're looking at? Are you looking to hire more women, minorities, new Americans, anything like that?
The people for these positions still have to complete an application. They still have to meet the minimum qualifications of the job. They still have to go through our normal application and hiring process, even though they're not applying for an exam. They're simply applying for a position under the HELP program. So we're still tracking that data. We have where it's offered, because it's not required that people provide it. We track that data, and we do track the statistics on minority hiring, both for the 101 and the 103 line.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a second to the motion? Julie, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a resolution. Steve is coming up for bonding.
Good morning. So the resolution in front of you today is seeking authorization to potentially refund all or a portion of our 2015 GO issuance. As the market has continued to improve, and our hopes that it will improve over the next 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, we believe we have an opportunity to refund, like I said, either a portion of the 15 outstanding bonds left or all of those bonds. In a nutshell, there's a lot of words on that refunding resolution, but really what it's allowing us to do is to, similar to when you refinance your home, is to go out and get, in this case, issue bonds at a lower rate, pay off the existing bonds at a higher rate, and then obviously spin up annual savings related to that transaction. So based on the analysis in front of you, and it continues to move based on how the market moves, there's a net present value savings of almost $1 million, which will spread out over the remaining life of the bond, the new bonds that we buy. So it'll help the county and offset annual debt service going forward. Not huge savings, but still meets the mark for us to potentially consider this and go forward with it. So we'll be doing our new issuance in October. So the hope is by the time we get into that time frame, that we'll have a better idea where the market is, and we'll have a final plan on how to refund these bonds, at what level. And then obviously, it'll probably be different than this, is my assumption. Hopefully better. Hopefully there'll be more savings based on the expectation that the Fed is going to reduce rates here at their next meeting. So, questions?
So Steve, is this the one resolution, or are you going to have to come back over to us in October?
Nope.
This allows us to go through the entire process. Okay.
To move forward with the refunding if the metrics hold.
Okay.
So obviously, if the market deteriorates and the savings aren't there, we won't go through with it.
Okay.
That has happened maybe once in my tenure, where we had the authorization to go forward with it, and then the market soured, and the savings weren't present anymore, so we just pulled it back and didn't go through with it.
Okay. Questions? Dave?
Thank you. Yeah, over the years, Steve's done a really, really effective job keeping his eye on the market and saving us money in this way. I don't know how many times we've done this, but it's
Unfortunately, we haven't done it recently because of where the market's
yeah.
been. I mean, we've definitely benefited on the investment side.
Yep.
And then
I was actually kind of surprised to see this resolution on
Yeah.
the agenda, because I didn't think in this environment maybe it'd be.
And, just to throw this in there to make it more interesting, can anyone remember the majority of the bonds that were issued in 2015? What project it pertained to?
No.
Well, I was here.
Oh, you know. It was the amphitheater.
Oh, amphitheater, there you go.
Oh,
So the
really?
potential here is we refund these bonds, the ultimate true cost of the amphitheater will potentially be less than what was originally in place.
Well, we always like that. So, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a specific question right now. I'll say that I just want to look more at this. I trust your ability to refinance, so I'm not going to,
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember
But-
too, Dan, that this isn't me in a vacuum. So we obviously, we have underwriters out there that are constantly not only, I'll say trolling, not in a bad way, but all municipal issuers to see if there's a refunding opportunity. So it's not uncommon. Well, it has been uncommon the last few years, but before that, when the rate environment was conducive to it, I would always get emails from underwriters saying, hey, I think there's an opportunity here. Once we're working with our fiscal advisors, we believe that there is. We go out for a competitive process, hire an underwriter. So there's guide rails here. It's not just me determining what's best here. So
Yeah, no, I understand that. I was just saying, I want to understand it more, so I'm just going to, I might contact you.
Yeah,
in between
that's fine.
to talk about
no
it.
problem.
Thank you. I think $1 million of savings is significant and exciting. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, to Legislator Knapp's point, it is interesting and exciting, frankly, that we're able to refinance here in this market. And as you said very well, this is a moving target here but the rate environment, in some opinions, is going to get better. Hopefully, they're there when we get there in October. But it's still $1 million, and encourage you to move on it as soon as you can, as things are moving. We didn't talk about our credit rating or the grade. Could you just tell us?
So currently, we're AA2 with Moody's, which puts us in the top tier of rated counties in the state. We're AA with S&P. I think that puts us in, maybe in the middle, maybe in the upper tier a little bit. We will get those ratings reevaluated here soon. So actually, the week after next, we'll be having our rating calls, gearing up for the new issuance. But we'll use those ratings, obviously, as well for the refunding as we go forward with that. But ratings are strong. Moody's upgraded us a couple of years ago. Since then, we've been affirmed. Our ratings have been affirmed and stable. The expectation as the growth starts to show real signs of progress, because remember, these ratings are forward-looking. They obviously look at past performance, but they're really forward-looking. So, the hope is that this round here, maybe we at least get an outlook change. Maybe it's just the same rating, but hopefully maybe they put a positive outlook on it. And that really indicates, the outlooks really indicate, what they believe the rating may be in the next 12 to 18 months. So if it's stable, they believe, your rating's going to be, roughly the same over that term. If it's negative, there's a potential that that rating's going to go down within that term. And obviously, if it's positive, there's a good potential that the rating's going to move positively within that term. But the ratings are still strong, still allows us to go to the market, issue bonds at competitive rates to fund the county's, constant infrastructure improvements. And as all know, that's only going to continue to increase.
Thank you for your leadership, and of course, I think we should have the highest credit rating, given our
Maybe coming.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful that we get an upgrade, and
the operating results have been strong, obviously, but the rating looks at a lot more than that.
Now, one other thing, as far as the term of this bond package, so we're refinancing some of these bonds. We're going to refinance the term too.
Yeah, so the term will go out to, I locked up. Yeah, so the term will go out to, based on this schedule, 45. So 20 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Chris?
Just out of curiosity, you talked about the upgrade AA2. What does that equate to? What are the, I know that obviously the better the credit rating.
Well, AA1's the gold standard, so.
So what is it like? What is the percentage change? So when we go out to the market, right? So we're doing here, and we have that rating. Mm-hmm. How much does that save us? Like, what is the difference? Is it minimal? Is it substantial? Obviously,
it depends. It depends on the gap in the ratings. If you're talking about someone who's rated AA3 or lower versus a AA2 or AA1, it could be as much as 50, 75, 100 basis points. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on the size of the issuance, what the projects are. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But certainly, the stronger the rating, the more competitive your rate's going to be. But again, that's a hard question to answer without having a specific scenario you're talking about. Like, what are we comparing? Are we comparing someone who has, almost junk bond status versus, a strong credit rating like us? But certainly, when your financial house is in order and you have, outward-looking future growth and potential for growth, and hopefully, community growth in terms of financial stability, that plays a lot into those ratings, and will allow us to continue to hit the market with a competitive rate. Before the pandemic, we were commonly getting rates, and before the rates started changing, we were commonly, you know, in the below 2% we were issuing bonds at, which is, you know, it's nearly free, for crying out loud. So, you know, when the previous county executive was here, we did a lot of investments in infrastructure. We continue to do that. Now it costs more money, but on the flip side, we're earning quite a bit more money in our investments as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword from that perspective. So I didn't answer your question directly because it's kind of tough to, but certainly the, you know, the overall concept is the stronger your rating, the more competitive and the more attractive your bonds are going to be to investors.
Right, so when we package all these up, we go out to the market, just what the savings was a percentage, what happens to a lot of variables.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So.
Any other questions?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.